there's a difference between just a lot of rain and the more temperate rainstorms that we're used to and a tropical thunderstorm. Those are vicious, but also very exciting and dramatic. I really like them.
Exciting and dramatic. It's awful and horrible.
I don't have my contacts in, so you look gorgeous.
Nice. Hey, everybody.
Welcome back to Notier's Frontiers Diaries. Last time we were making our way through Costa Rica. We were loving it. We were wondering if it was really heaven on earth or not. And we decided to go to a new side of Costa Rica. So far, we've been on the Pacific side of Central America for a long time, ever since Guatemala. And since Costa Rica is so narrow, we decided to take a little road over to the Caribbean side of Central America, to a place called Cahuita. When we got to Cahuita, we
found a little nice hotel that was, really cheap. But the cool thing, what drew me there, is that there's a national park that kind of lines the Caribbean Sea, and the very last ending town. There's a border further to the east, but you can only cross the border via foot traffic, and so it was kind of a secluded. It was kind of a it was a one-way ticket in a vehicle because you had to exit the same way you came back. But it was absolutely worth it and amazing. And I knew it as soon as we entered that it was going to be a fun little enjoyable time.
Yeah, and we ran into Jill and Chris, who we had met before in León in Nicaragua. And they were there on their Harleys. We had breakfast together. And they had just visited Cahuita National Park. And we're like, yeah, you have to go. But they told us, just don't feed the raccoons. And we were like, well... No, we weren't going to feed the raccoons. We have our own personal histories of dealing with raccoons in the U.S., and you definitely don't feed them.
No, and there's weird raccoon things all over the world that, you look at them, as me, and I'm like, I know you're in the same family as the raccoon, but, you have a big, huge snout, or, a crazy loop-de-loop tail. We saw them in Guatemala, and I was like, I don't quite know what that is, but it's a couple chromosomes away from... A raccoon. And
the raccoons that we're used to can be pretty vicious.
But they're also
you keep your
so cute too.
Yeah, very, very cute. Very smart, but you definitely keep your distance. But apparently, people here in this part of Costa Rica, there were so many tourists and stuff, and they weren't used to dealing with the raccoons, and they thought they were very cute, which they are, and would feed them a lot.
Not even. They would just be having a picnic because it's almost like beachside. There's a little trail that cuts through the forest, which is absolutely beautiful. Yeah. And then there's just a little bit of woods to your left before it hits the beach, before it hits the Caribbean. Yeah. And a lot of people will just, hang out on the side and have a picnic. And these raccoons are aware, and let it be from previous people who gave them food. Now they associate human beings with grub and not the ones in the ground, But... So they told us this nightmare story of somebody was eating, they were walking by and this family was being assaulted by a troop of raccoons coming in with parachutes and, digging up from under the ground,
So we were like, all right, we're not going to feed the raccoons. Cahuita National Park was literally walking distance, 5 minutes from our hotel. Yeah. We didn't need the motorcycle. You just walk there, and it goes right along the beach. And for us, the beach was beautiful. It was not a very sunny day, but still, it was a gorgeous, gorgeous beach. But my favorite part was not the raccoons, and it was not the Caribbean Sea.
It was the monkeys.
The monkeys.
Yeah, it's always the monkeys. Hey, it's the monkeys. They're so cute. And they forage and eat their own food, which is nice. And, some look like old warlock wizards and other ones look...
They're so expressive. Some of them look really angry. Some of them look really old. Some of them look really furious.
Look like they're going, ooh! Like they just thought of something.
They just thought of something.
They had an epiphany. Yeah, like, that's how we solve the world's problems.
They are solving the world's problems in their little brains, for sure.
And they're cute, and they're nice enough to let me take pictures of them. I was walking through, a jungle canopy tour with monkeys everywhere. It was really, really fun. And
you can tell that they were used to tourists, too. And so they weren't afraid of us. They would just hang out right there on the side of the path. It's like a one-way path that goes right along the coast there, and they were just hanging out everywhere, little cappuccino monkeys.
Cappuccino monkeys.
So that made our day, and we were very happy about having gone to Cahuita. It has a very Caribbean vibe there, very laid back. And from Cahuita, though, we knew that we would have to backtrack, because like you said, there is the border to Panama very close by, but apparently it was only a walking path border, so you couldn't bring a vehicle.
Traffic.
Yeah, foot traffic, that's it. You couldn't bring a vehicle across it. But there was a lot more of Costa Rica that we wanted to explore anyway. So we knew we'd have to backtrack, and we did. We headed off from Cahuita to the capital city, San Jose. And along the way, we passed through a national park, which would have been a gorgeous ride, except that it started storming. It started raining right when we left Cahuita, and then the rains just kind of got more and more intense as we went along. This was one of the first real tropical rainstorms that we had ridden through that was very, very intense. You know, there's a difference between just a lot of rain and the more temperate rainstorms that we're used to, and a tropical thunderstorm. Those are vicious, but also very exciting and dramatic. I really like them.
Exciting and dramatic. It's awful and horrible. Don't paint it with this pretty picture when it sucked. It was awful.
And it did kind of suck.
And, I mean, we don't ever make reservations for anything, so now we're driving around the capital of, a city within a country I've never been to, and I don't know where the heck I'm going, and I'm just looking for something that screams, hotel or hostel with a large, gate in front of it. And we had plugged a couple things into our GPS, and they were just not, coming into reality as what we assumed they would. And
we always look for a place where the motorcycle would have safe parking.
Yeah.
Some of the hostels, there just wasn't any parking.
Yeah.
So we're like, okay, that can't be an option.
I'm done driving around in crappy traffic and crappy weather, So we finally found a place. Marisa found a place. It had one of those big old zombie apocalypse gate things.
It did.
And
it was very secure.
Yeah. hostels and opened up, and there was a dude sitting there that was there all day and night, a security guard. And we got out of the hell that was the rain and successfully entered into San Jose.
And this was interesting for us because this was a hostel, a proper backpackers hostel. And we had been in so many very rural places with little hotels and very authentic areas that this was the first time that we've really hit up the tourist track of Central America. A lot of people would fly in to San Jose and then go straight to this hostel. Like a rooftop bar and like
it was nice
whole internet area that like a lounge, and it was really nice.
We just weren't accustomed to other, foreigners or they
had like pancake breakfasts every morning. And we thought, okay, well, hostels are definitely something to look into for the future.
Nah, I don't like hostels that much. Especially, I don't like, the shared rooms,
Yeah.
Like, that's just too much. People farting and stinking and tippy-tapping on their computer or laughing on, their phones all night. Well, it's like, dude.
That's the least of it, yeah.
Yeah. Feet hanging down.
They could be doing all sorts of other things.
They could be doing a lot of things. This is true. Let your imagination go crazy. They did it. They do it, and don't touch the curtains.
So when we were in San Jose, you decided, you were done with your helmet. You were like, I need a new helmet. And there happened to be a KTM dealership there.
Yeah.
And you were like, this is the perfect opportunity for me to purchase a new helmet.
My old helmet was like this Marvin the Martian bobblehead that, like, if I shook my head, there'd be like 3 more rotations before it settled back to center. And so that was needed to be, upgraded ASAP.
Also, we needed to get an oil change. You wanted to check the brakes because of that time in Guatemala when, we burnt through the brakes, and it had been done since then. But this was a real KTM dealership, so we were excited about that. It'd been a while since we'd had kind of that luxury. So
luxury of dealerships. Some are good. Most are not. I'll let you fill in the in-betweens. The KTM in Salt Lake City, Utah.
Is amazing.
Amazing.
Bam. This is the edge.
Nice.
The KTM in Ecuador, in Quito.
In
Cuenca.
Amazing.
5-star. 3 Michelin stars.
And this one was pretty good too. But
this one was okay. The rest of them left to be desired. But we
went in and you got a new helmet, and it was exactly like my helmet. It was the Schuberth helmet.
And I got a good deal on the helmet because they told me they had a certain tire size in stock, and it turned out that they didn't.
Yeah.
And I said, well, this isn't the same tire size. I don't want the tire. And they said, well, we've already installed it. And I said, well, that sucks. And then they said, just keep the tire. We'll give it to you for a little bit cheaper, and we'll give you the little bit of helmet for cheaper. And it wasn't the biggest deal in the world, and everything worked out fine. But I did take the slight discount due to the slight lie, and everybody felt a little happy on the way out. So, and that's the helmet that I wore for the next 3 years.
Yeah, that's correct.
And it fit nice. It was a Schuberth.
Yeah.
I don't know if I'm saying it right. Marissa doesn't think it's Schuberth.
I think it's Schuberth.
That sounds like ice cream.
No, it sounds like the composer. It does sound like ice cream.
It sounds like the composer. That's what everybody was thinking, and then you said it, and they're like, that
is what you were thinking. I know. After San Jose, we were very excited to kind of have a little bit of a retreat from all the madness of the big city. And the hostel we were at, they had like these nightly club parties, and we were like, okay, a little bit of peace and quiet might be nice.
Yeah.
And so we headed off to an Airbnb that we rented for like a week in a mountainous area called Puriscal. And this turned out to be one of the highlights of our trip through Central America.
It was.
next episode, though.
Dun, 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 dun.
So thank you so much for watching this video. If you liked it, please hit the subscribe button below ding, ding. And give us a thumbs up. 2
if you can. And don't do it twice and then one goes away. Just do it once. And then the little notification bell. Ding, ding.
Yes. And we'll be seeing you next time.
Stay safe, everybody.
Bye.
Peace.